Hi, Anson.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you
Awesome.
doing?
I'm doing really well. We have another heat wave here in California. Can you believe it?
Well,
It
you are in California, so I kind of expect it there.
I won't complain then. I won't.
We are not having a heat wave in Pennsylvania, and it's muggy and
Ooh,
humid and it's kind of yucky. But
ooh.
how
Oh,
hot is it there?
it actually got up to like 94 yesterday, but actually
Uh,
but there was a previous heat wave a few weeks ago at 114
oh,
for a day. And then it went down, to just normal 70s, beautiful. And then now we have another heat wave. But there's no climate change. Don't worry about it.
oh
It's
no. Well,
no, no, it's normal.
well, listen, I'm just going to hide the aerosol hairsprays and the styrofoam products, and we got this.
Beautiful.
I want to tell you something. First of all, I have a lot of friends on Facebook. And I've told you before, I have a really big following because of the monkeys. Happy Days was featured in this Weezer video,
Oh yeah,
and
I
I
was in
I
it.
I know. I'm not a fan of the song. I'm not going to lie. But the guy Rivers Cuomo who wrote that song, he actually did a song for the Monkees on their Good Times album. So my kid Dylan, he says to me, "You have to watch this video because Anson's in this video," and it made me happy because even though a lot of times these guys skirt around like paying people and all that kind of stuff, it was cool that like another generation in some way, shape, or form gets to see, you know, Happy Days and it all kind of comes together at some point where my kid is 18 and and it's just another, oh my God, look, mom, like you're cool. You know, a guy who's in this video. And then, so there's a Monkeys and a Happy Days, reference that all comes together.
There's even more of a Happy Days reference.
Okay.
Guess who? Fonzie, the character Fonzie, was between two people, Mickey Dolenz and Henry Winkler. And of course, Henry developed this different character, and he got the part. But there was Mickey. There was Mickey. So that's even a closer association, right? That's 1/8 degree, not
That's,
6 degrees.
see, I didn't want to tell the story because,
Oh,
well,
did I like
no,
take?
no, 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 no. Mickey told me the story, and he said that
Okay.
Henry told him the story, and that Henry's when Henry saw Mickey at the I guess like the one of the calls or whatever that you guys go to. I'm not in show business, so I don't know what they're called, but the callbacks or whatever,
All
that
right.
Henry was like, uh-oh, there's Mickey Dolenz. And Mickey says, like, obviously the best person got, the part. But yeah, I mean, but then here's the thing. If Mickey was there, listen, it made you the lead singer of the band that eventually was playing at Arnold's. So
You're really playing this forward now.
it,
Oh,
I'm,
oh God.
I,
I'm thrilled Henry got the part.
yeah, I
No,
mean, listen,
but I'm a fan of
I'm,
Mickey's. I'm a
I'm,
big fan of Mickey's. I don't think people realize. Honestly, I'm totally. You go on Alexa. You go, Alexa, play the Monkeys. Hit after hit after hit after hit. And then, oh wait, Alexa's going right now. Alexa, stop. Unbelievable. You sneeze and Alexa comes on.
I know.
But
I
no,
know.
but Mickey, I mean, he's a huge musical star, huge musical star.
I know.
I
I
mean,
try to
I
tell
don't
him
think
that all
people
the
realize
time.
his songs are played. His voice is heard thousands of times a day around the world,
I
every day.
always say to him, I go, "Do you know who you are?" Because
Yeah.
I really do put him in a category of Paul McCartney because
Uh-huh.
I feel like the Beatles and the Monkees are, I know they're not the same, but there is, on some level, there's always been a conversation that sometimes brings them together. And I do, because he's just like this regular guy. And I always say to him, like, do you know who you are? Because I mean, he's excited about you guys. And he said to me, he's like, do you really think like I should be there? You know, I don't want to like take away from, I don't want to, like, if I don't belong there. And I'm going, are you kidding me? They want you to be there. He's just a very humble, regular person. And I've been working with him for 12 years, but it's funny because you actually gave me my break when I was telling you that, but I have so many followers on Facebook, and they always ask me how I got started. And with this kind of stuff, it was some random guy who does stuff on the radio. And he said, can you get me some celebrity guests? And you were the first person that got back to me. So it's really true that, like, you know, if you go and just like message people, somebody eventually will respond. And you responded, and you got me like my first break of going, yes, Anson Williams will do your radio show. And I screwed up, and you lectured me on how to do a better job. And because you did that, it taught me how to do a better job. And I never screwed up again, because I learned. I didn't have an education in this business. I didn't know about reconfirming. I didn't know about how to do anything. I knew sales, I knew business to business, but I didn't know this business. And you taught me immediately, and I was like, I am never going to make that mistake again. And you know, then eventually, I mean, now it was 10 years till I actually met you. This is why, and I'm getting to why this is why I wanted to do this interview. I used to do interviews during COVID. I was calling my little show socially distancing, because I wanted to make sure that everybody out there still had something to look forward to, since everybody was locked indoors. But when I met you finally just a couple weeks ago in person, and you were nothing like I imagined. I mean, first of all, because of you, my husband wants to go to all these events now.
Oh,
I mean, I've been trying to get him to go to Comic-Cons and events and stuff, and he would never go. He had so much fun that now he wants to go everywhere with me. And
that's
which
great.
I hope so. Which, no, it's
From
great.
my side, it seems
It's
great.
great. It's great.
From your side, that's your side.
That's how much fun you were. But I always go to these events, and I usually come back and I tell all of my followers what you guys are like, what all the celebrities are like, because I don't go in it as an agent or a salesperson or a stuck up, you know, whatever. I go in as a fan, and I report back on what my experience is as a little kid meeting my heroes. And we spent the weekend together, and I was in awe of you and Don. I mean, to the point where I literally couldn't sleep on that Sunday night when we got home. And the reason I couldn't sleep was because when you guys did a Q&A on that Sunday, um the the Q&As, I'm used to Mickey's Q&As, and I kind of have them, you know, memorized at this point because I know everything. Okay. And your Q&A I'd never heard before. And I mean, I know Happy Days, you know, everybody know, I feel like everybody knows Happy Days. Um, I used to watch you, you had products on QVC. I used to watch that on QVC. Um, I really didn't know that there was homework to do in learning about a person's background. You were an actor, you know. I knew you were a singer. I knew that type of stuff. But you told a story. Somebody asked you about Happy Days. And why, I think the question was something about why you felt Happy Days was so important. And, you know, the answer that you gave, I have chills when I think about. I tried writing the answer that you gave. I tried videoing myself with the response that you gave. And I felt so passionate about the answer that you gave, that I felt I needed you to tell the people, because I'd never heard it before. And it's kept me up at night because it just blew me away. So, can you please tell people that never heard this story before, why was Happy Days so important in the history of television?
Well, it's beyond the history of television.
Why is Happy Days so
Don't.
important in the history, literally, of the world?
Yeah. Well, I don't think people. Well, I don't think they realize generations are alive today because of Happy Days. We're out of entertainment now into people's lives. Just the power. It's the power of a show. And of course, Happy Days, it was very popular, and all that, and really, you know, gave people a lot of joy. But people ask me, what's the most important thing that ever came out of Happy Days? And I said, saving generations. The story is my second cousin, who I've called Uncle since I was born, was Dr. Henry Heimlich, creator of the Heimlich maneuver. And we were very close, even though he was on the East Coast, I was on the West Coast. And when Happy Days started, and I believe the Heimlich maneuver in 1974, Hank, who I call, that's who I called Henry, invented the Heimlich maneuver. And the reason he invented it was because a friend of he and his wife had choked to death. And he thought there has to be a better way than slapping someone on the back. So he experimented and came up with the Heimlich maneuver, and it started saving lives. As he started promoting it, he had a conflict with the Red Cross. It was a political thing, and but basically the Red Cross tried to stop it because they didn't like him, and kept promoting slapping on the back and the other things nonsense. And once in a while, Hank would get a little PR, but most of the time he couldn't break the show. He couldn't break the maneuver out into the world. And he was really upset because every day someone's dying unnecessarily because people are slapping him on the back and not doing the maneuver. And one day, closer to 1980, he was on the set, and I didn't have a long rehearsal day that day. And he was, you know, talking to me about his frustration. He said, I can't get this thing out there. I can't break through. And we're doing okay. We have a little bit here and there. I can't get this through. And it's beyond frustrating. It's heartbreaking. And I'm standing there, just, you know, I don't know what to do about it. And the phone rings on the set, and it's the Merv Griffin show. And I had been on the Merv Griffin show a couple of times in the past, and someone had dropped out for the show that night. And they called to see if I was available to sing a song and be interviewed and kind of replace this person at the last moment. And I thought, wow, we can get the Heimlich maneuver on national television. Like, yeah, how am I going to do that? You know, that's impossible. But I was naive enough to think we could do it. So I run over to Hank, and I say to him, look, I'm going to do the Merv Griffin show tonight, and we'll get the Heimlich maneuver on, and this is going to happen. And so I get off early. I go back to my place. He comes with me. I get ready for the Merv Griffin show. I get the charts because I'm going to sing a song. We run down on the Merv Griffin show, and give the band leader my songs. And I'm going to rehearse. And I talk to people there. Can I talk to Merv, please? No, he's busy. Okay, rehearse the song. Can I talk to Merv, please? No, he's busy. All right. The producer, I go in the dressing room, the producer comes in, and he's vetting me, meaning, what are we going to talk about that night? So we got to talk about the Heimlich maneuver. And he goes, no, wait, no, we have to vet that. We don't know enough about that. We can't legally talk about that. No, maybe another time, but no. You're going to talk about Happy Days, a fun thing on the set. That's it. So I thought, well, we tried. And the show's about to start. They give Hank a nice seat in the audience. I don't think I was first out, maybe second out, something like that. So my turn, I sing the song. And then the song ends, it's a commercial break. They sit me next to Merv. I thought, what the heck? I give him an elevator pitch about the Heimlich maneuver. He goes, wait a minute, wait. He goes, thank God he had read something about it somewhere, somehow. And he said, that interested me. He's here? Yeah, really? Well, thank you. Okay. Doesn't even tell the director, who I'll talk about later. Lights come up, applause, and I'm waiting for the Happy Days question. And Murph starts it off. Anson just told me about something very, very interesting. Is there a Dr. Heimlich in the audience? Yeah, stand up. He interviews Dr. Heimlich about the Heimlich maneuver from the stage. He brings Dr. Heimlich up, does the maneuver on Merv nationally. Now, the show's delayed one day. So the next night it went on the air. The response was phenomenal. Okay. 2, guess who the director? You talk about godly intervention. Guess who the director of the Merv Griffin show was? Dick Carson, Johnny Carson's brother.
Wow.
Dick Carson calls up his brother and says, we just had this Dr. Heimlich on Merv. You have to have this guy on. It's going to save lives. You've got to get him on the Carson show. 3 weeks later, he was on the Carson show, did the maneuver on Carson, and forget about it. Boom, it blew out. That was the beginning of the huge direction to keep Heimlich maneuver part of the societal platform forever. If it wasn't for Happy Days, and if it wasn't for a great cast or whatever to make a great show, to give me the opportunity to even have this opportunity, I truly don't know if the Heimlich maneuver would have been here today. And I truly don't know how many generations wouldn't be here. That is the most important thing that ever happened because of Happy Days. Nothing compares to that.
It's that story that has literally kept me up at night. I came home, I started Googling it. There wasn't as much press or interviews that I could find on that particular story. I was looking for any video that I could find.
It wasn't video that, in fact, I sent you a picture, I think.
I did see that.
And that's a picture my dad took on the television.
Yeah.
That's why it's so black. He took the picture on the television of Dr. Heimlich doing the Heimlich maneuver on Merv.
Now, Heimlich is your actual birth name.
Yeah, Anson Williams Heimlich. Actually, it's Heimlich, but my dad changed it to K for other reasons. But yeah, so yeah, Anson Williams Heimlich. And then early on in my career, you should use your middle name, Anades. But now the name is so famous, I wanted to change it back.
Well, it's, what's so interesting is that, and, with no disrespect, but the Heimlich maneuver is known more than Happy Days is. I mean,
Deservedly. Don't
absolute, as well
disrespect.
it should be.
It's a difference. Okay, Happy Days is for enjoyment, entertainment.
Yes.
Heimlich maneuver saves lives. There's not even a comparison.
No, it's not. But what I took from that conversation, along with a lot of other things that I learned about you that day, aside from the fact that Don Most had said that he had to use the
Yes,
Heimlich maneuver on his wife Morgan.
twice.
Yeah, and which is coming full circle, of course, but
Yeah.
what I learned, you're in a business where I do think that many actors need to have a bit of a narcissistic personality. You have to, because you need to protect yourselves. It's something that I've noticed that you don't have. A lot of times when I observe celebrities, they're very busy talking about themselves, their next projects, whether they even have them or not. And which you don't need to agree, but it's definitely, you don't want to ever sound like you aren't working in this industry. You, on the other hand, what I took from that story that just blew me away is that you're on this huge show and you had one single goal that day, and that was to take your opportunity on one of the biggest shows on television to seek out the host to give your spotlight to somebody else. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter what you didn't care about yourself. You were only interested in getting this man attention because you saw how important he and his message was, and you weren't thinking, oh, well, I can promote the show, I can promote my music. You didn't care, oh, well, what if they drop me from the show and the entire program is now dedicated to just talking about my uncle? You didn't worry about how it was going to affect your appearance on one of the biggest talk shows. Your goal was just to get this, and you tried over and over and over again, not worried about you, which is so rare, especially because this was before the internet or anything else. This was your shot. And that was what I took, which blew me away about you. After I came back, and I wouldn't put into my words what I learned about you and your story, because I felt like you needed to say it. And I started looking up and learning more about you and listening to more interviews about you. You have a habit. I don't know if you realize this, but you spend more time on interviews complimenting other people that you work with and talking up their products, their careers. It just blows me away how absolutely just so complimentary you are to other people instead of talking about yourself. And that's very, very rare for anybody in this industry. You don't, I mean, and it really impressed me so much about you. And I know I didn't tell you this, that this is what I wanted to tell you. But when I was listening to all these I've listened to stuff, you being interviewed by people in Australia. I've listened to you on the Oprah specials. I've spent a lot of time just studying you. And, you spend so much time talking about how incredible of a singer Don is and about his shows. I've heard you talking about Robin Williams and about other people in the industry, and you talk so kindly about go see their products, go see their shows, go get their stuff. You don't spend much talking about your wife, talking about her genius, her talents. I mean, you really are just so incredible of a person to spend this kind of time and opportunity to use your platform to talk up other people. Um, that I just felt like I needed to tell you that because it's not like a recent thing. It's something that's been going on for decades because I've been listening to your interviews for decades, and that's what you've been doing.
Oh, well, God, thank you. I mean, Gary Marshall, early on, who was really our teacher, not only in terms of entertainment, but for life. And he sat us down and he said, you know, you're all going to be famous and you don't deserve it. He said, there's going to be a light on you. And you need to take the light. You know how Gary talks. You're going to take the light and you're going to put it on someone that deserves it. That's your responsibility. And well, I mean, I took that to heart. And honestly, to me, I do what I do. Early on in my life, someone gave me just a short quote that was really affected me. He said, Anson, everybody, you want to win. You got this fire in you. You got this fire in you. You want to climb to the top and you want to be great. You want to do what you do. And you're in it. You're in it. Never, ever be of it. It's what you do. You know, it's not who you are. If all of a sudden it's who you are, you're hiding behind it, whether it's hiding behind drugs, hiding behind money, hiding behind a position, whatever, hiding behind kids, he said, you will never be happy and you'll never live a good life. You're in it, never be of it. It's what you do, it's not who you are. I live that. And honestly,
Obviously.
for me, I don't care. You know, I'll promote a show I'm doing. I mean, absolutely, it's going to be good. But when it comes on there, if you're too selfish, you'll explode. You're of it. I'm so important. Oh, look at me. You're not that great. Guess what? Nobody is that great. I don't care if you're a movie star, president of the United States, or whatever. Everybody, everybody's going to go to the same place. And there's cause and effect in life. Really. In fact, another person, a wonderful person that people might know, Thomas Jefferson, he actually said he had defined how to live your life, a good life, in 3 words. What if I could tell you, I could give you the greatest self-help book in the world. In the world. Every self-help book now that's 300 pages could be done in 3 words. What would you give me if I could give you a book with 3 words that would answer all your questions? 3 words. Cause and effect. That's it. Every thought you think has an effect, good or bad. Every action you take has an effect, good or bad. I put my finger in the fire. Ooh, the effect. I'm not doing that again. Like Jefferson said, right and wrong is in us. We get the effect of it. Listen to it. That's the power of positive thinking. That is you want a good life. Every action, every thought, every morsel in your mouth, everything works on cause and effect. Understand your action, understand the effect, and change it if it makes you feel bad. That's that simple. That's life, man. That's the whole enchilada, in my opinion.
If only people would strive to that these days, because it seems like it's overcomplicating these days and people aren't living by that, unfortunately.
Oh.
Now, when in not knowing until I was listening to every conversation when you were signing autographs and meeting with people, I never really, I'm not gonna lie, I did not know after Happy Days and all the spin-offs and everything else that you directed like everything in the 90s and that I watched, and that like all like when the Monkeys came, the reason I'm a Monkeys fan, and like most of the people that that follow me, we all became Monkeys fans in the 80s, which is why we're all obsessed with like this 60s group, which also brings in the Happy Days crowd, and like why we're a little bit of an off generation and we're watching the reruns. So then we all were watching as you were directing these shows, like Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90210. I mean, Xena, you were directing Hercules, you were directing Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What else were you do? I mean, what didn't you do? Baywatch? You were everywhere. I mean, you had to have had like a bigger success with directing and producing than acting.
I did. I did have a bigger success. That's what I'm saying. Don't get involved with yourself. I just knew acting. You got to be honest with yourself, and you got to make decisions for your life. And two or one, even during Happy Days, because of Gary Marshall sat us down and really inspired us to be more than actors. He said, you might not act all your life. Use Paramount Studios as a college. He said, you have the best directors, writers in the world here. Learn the entertainment business. Don't get involved with your ego or your dressing rooms. Get involved with taking advantage of where you are and educate yourself. And we did. I went to writers' meetings, editing. I was with Polanski when he was directing Chinatown on the back lot. I was a pain in the neck kid, asking him questions. John Schlesinger doing Dave the Locust, the Grease musical numbers. When I wasn't working, I was observing something at Paramount Studios. And I got my PhD in entertainment by going to the best college in the world for 10 and a half years. And it accumulated where in 1980, I had written a story called Skyward, and Ron Howard liked it. We partnered on it. We both executive produced, he directed, and it was called Skyward. Again, you're talking about giving back. Ron and I did this film, Skyward, which is about this young high school girl who was disabled, always in a wheelchair, looking up and everyone looking down at her. So her whole world became everything skyward, free, floating in the sky. And anyway, also it was a statement on people stop judging her and putting her in a place, bring her equal. And it was a statement on the disabled, and she learns to fly. She gets to learn to look down for the first time, and everyone looking up at her.
Wow.
You know, it was very much, very lyrical. And I took it. Ron said, "Oh yeah, that's a great story." I go, blah blah blah. We go into NBC, Brandon Tartikoff, and he buys it into development. We bring in a screenwriter, write the script. Now he goes, it's greenlit. We're doing this. Well, on our own, we started auditioning disabled actresses. Why be? I don't want to be hypocritical here. I want a disabled actor playing this part that really breaks through the barriers here, breaks through the glass ceiling. Wow. Stop judging this person. They're not in a chair. They're much more. Stop it. So we find this young girl, Susie Gilstrap, who's never acted. She's perfect. We go to Brandon Tartikoff. Brandon says, "That's great, guys. You're gonna hire Melissa Sue Anderson. She's in Little House on the Prairie. We have a deal with her. You know, you've got to hire her. And we're going, no, 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 oh, no, 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 nope, you're going to hire her. We walk out of there. Ron says, we're going to do our screen test. So Ron played one of the characters, and we did a screen test with Susie. We went back into Brandon with our tape. Look how good she is. Now he's going. Now we're kind of wearing him down a little bit, and he's going, okay, guys, I know I can't. We've got this. I can't. And he finally says, okay, all right. There's this part here of an old retired stunt pilot lady who runs this little restaurant in this little airport. And it's pretty much an action part for really an older lady. You get me Betty Davis, you can have your girl. We walk out of there. Betty Davis is like getting the Pope. Why not get why not get the President of the United States to do the part and get the First Lady? It's impossible. I mean, back then she was huge. It was like, are you kidding me? So we thought we walked away thinking, well, we tried. That night, I'm watching Johnny Carson again, and Betty Davis is on that night, and she's oh, well, I'm tired of these old lady parts. I want something with action. They're typecasting me. I can't stand it anymore. I go, oh. Call up Ron. We got to get the script to her agent. We got to get the script to her agent. We don't know. So we figure it out, and we just blindly get the script to her agent. What are the odds of her reading it? However, Betty Davis doesn't trust anybody in the world, especially her agent. Anything submitted, she reads. She reads it, she accepts it. We get Susie, and the film's greenlighted, and the rest is history. And that film was a major part because we screened it in Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy Center with senators and congressmen. Betty Davis came, everyone, and it was during the year of the disabled. And it was a major part, a major help in making sure all the access you see today on streets and everything for the disabled, Happy Days and Skyward were part of that. Not many people know that story.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then the next thing I directed, co-wrote the story called No Greater Gift. It was an after-school special, won the Humanities Award, and it was all about organ donorship with these two kids. We doubled donorship cards in the United States. The third one was called The Lone Star Kid, and it's a script I co-wrote, exec produced, directed for PBS. Small little film, but it was about the youngest mayor of the United States. He was 12 years old at the time in Crab, Texas, Brian Zimmerman. And it wasn't cute though. This kid went in there and got streets paved, temporary police department, temporary medical ambulance. He was a real mayor. For the people. He created things that had never been done in this satellite community of Houston. No one asked Houston to do what they're supposed to do. This 12-year-old kid. Anyway, he ran for mayor, and he won. It was an unincorporated city, so he could do it. So anyway, I thought, wow, what a great microcosm for Washington. So we got the rights to it, and we filmed it. And James Earl Jones, who God bless, passed away, was so moved by it, he signed on for one of the leads at minimum. And Charlie Daniels came on to play the antagonist, but a kind man, and he did all the music for free. He and Charlie McCoy. So it's called The Lone Star Kid. We did it. Beyond beautiful review, beautiful. I mean, but Ron and I thought, I wonder, will anyone ever get the bigger picture of this? Why we did it? It was great. It was taken, good reviews, nice film. Years later, Poland was becoming a democracy. And my grandmother had escaped Poland before the First World War. They were becoming a democracy. The Congressional Committee called PBS to view Lone Star Kid. They felt it was one of the greatest examples of democracy and leadership. And they screened it for the Constitutional Committee. So someone got the bigger picture of this little film. So anyway, that was the beginning of being behind the camera. And yeah, and then had the opportunity through the years to just enjoy myself with so many wonderful shows. Shows like you were talking about, to LA Law, to Profiler, to Deep Space Nine, to Voyager, to Sequest. The last thing I directed regularly was Secret Life of the American Teenager with Shailene Woodley. I did about a third of those. And now I'm still involved in behind the camera writing, but I'm just not directing anymore because I want to live a long life. You know, the differences between writing and producing. I don't have to get up at 3 a.m. I don't have to be on the set. I can get there at 10 in the morning, go, everything looks good, and have a cappuccino, you know, at this age. So
Is there, even more so now from those stories, obviously you're a visionary because you seem to pick out underdog situations, and see things differently. With all of the directing and producing that you've ever done, was there any one actor that you saw early on that you said to yourself, now that person watch out for because they're going to be big?
Shailene Woodley, for sure. Dermot Mulroney was the other one. I did a film called The Drug Knot, which was for CBS, and it was really an amazing anti-drug movie that I cast Dermot in, and actually that part kind of gave him the platform to really move up. And to this day, he just hugs me. You know, he's just not a wonderful actor, but a wonderful human being. Yeah, but I say Dermot and Shailene. Wow. Yeah. I mean, others did very well. Everyone did very well. A lot of people did. Another one. She guest starred in 90210. And that was, she was in a Clint Eastwood film, played the female boxer. Remember?
Yeah.
Come on.
I know her name.
Come on. Yes.
Yes. I think she won an Academy Award.
Yes, she did. For Boys Don't Cry.
Yes. Wait a minute. Oh, see, and I turned my phone off because I knew that somebody was going to call me and interrupt me.
Watch this. Alexa, who starred in Boys Not Cry? From animatedtimes.com. Directed by Kimberly Purse. 1999's biographical movie Boys Don't Cry, starring Hilary Swank. Alexa, stop. Hilary Swank.
Yeah, you had that one right. That's for sure.
So bad. She was amazing. Wow. But even then, I think it was the last episode she was doing for her part in the series, and I just had the opportunity to be there for the last one. She was fun. I mean, she's just way above par. You could tell she was going places.
How about that? I mean, you really just, when I came back home and people were like, what were they like? You know, obviously your character on Happy Days, you know, you're a knucklehead. I mean,
excuse me.
I think that's what they describe you as. You're just
a knucklehead, a little naive, a little. Okay, I'm a knucklehead. It's fine.
But you are absolutely like just unbelievable in real life, obviously. And there aren't enough words for me to explain to people just meeting you and just the energy that bounces off. And then lastly, what I didn't even realize with all of the different projects that you have done with dealing basically with handicap situations or drug situations, like you had talked about, or basically underdog situations. one thing that you were telling me a lot about is, and it's not like a secret. I mean, it's out there on these profiles, is about the project that you're doing right now with your wife on mental illness,
Yes,
which
yes,
is to me like one of the big elephants in the room that I frequently discuss, because more people, I think, suffer from this situation or are a part of it, and they don't realize that, like cancer or any disease, people have this in different elements, and being medicated or going for help, or keeping it inside and not discussing it or acknowledging it is it is an illness, and it's okay as long as but it's suffocating many people, and not getting help, and living with this in some capacity is a problem.
yes,
And you're currently, your wife wrote about this,
yes.
and
Well, what it is, um, my wife, Sharon Scott Williams, and I'm not, just because I'm her husband, she's going to be known as one of the best playwrights in the United States. I mean, she is just a God-given gift of writing, phenomenal. And I'm a hard critic, because most of what I read is not good. I mean, basically, you get 100 scripts in, maybe two are shootable, maybe two. I mean, the competition is fierce, and the talent is limited, truly. And she wrote a memoir based on her life, and it's funny, and it's emotional, and it's hopeful, and it's tragic, and then it's a miracle ending. And I read the book. I said, this is a play. I said, this is a play. And if we add music, if we add this, if we add that, I won't go into the details, but she adapted it into a play. And it's called Crazy Mama. And you know how hard it is to get a play staged professionally. It's as hard as getting a screenplay made. You can't believe how fast one of the major theaters here in California picked it up. They thought it's a work of art. And it's going to premiere at the Rubicon Theater in Ventura County the end of March. Fully financed. Right now, we're locking in a kind of a major star. And I have the opportunity to direct this piece. And what's wonderful about it is the word mental illness is a downer, but the play is funny. It's funny, and it's emotional, and it's tactile to the audience. And it just, it educates, and it inspires, and it opens up your heart to know you're not alone. One in four people in the United States have mental problems. 1 in 4. And this one's about a mother. Just to backtrack, when we were doing the readings, staged readings, where an actress is literally reading it, and we have it a little staged up there, there's standing ovations at intermission. People coming up, bawling, crying, with hope, with like, oh my God, realizing they're not alone, realizing they can talk about it, realizing there's help out there. The doors opened, the windows opened, everything opened, and collaboration started of dealing with this problem and not hiding this problem. And this play does that. It makes you laugh, it entertains, it makes you cry, it makes you hopeful, and miracles do happen. You walk out of there so human, people hugging, families hugging, that came in kind of, I don't know what I'm expecting. And it's a healing play. And it's a play that helps the mental illness situation. It opens you up. It makes you research. It shows you there is help out there. And it addresses it in such a creative, important way. So I am so proud to be part of this. Probably the most important piece I've ever been part of, especially now in this country, what's going on.
Where can this book be purchased?
The book, I think it's going on shortly. So
Okay.
basically,
You will let me know, right?
if they go to the Rubicon, Rubicon, Rubicon Theater
Uh-huh.
with an RE.org.
Uh-huh.
They'll see their whole season. It's in the 2025 season, and they can read all about it.
Okay. But
Okay.
the book itself,
The book itself, I'll get that information.
okay, because it, ironically enough, Happy Days is not a relatable family unit to me, but mental illness is.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think to most people, you know, and if you can't laugh, unfortunately, at mental illness, I think that actually, if you laugh, if you can laugh, you can accept it a
Well,
little
that's
bit
what happened here in her
better.
life. Her mom, just to give you the beginning of the play. Wonderful life. Her dad's a great guy, life insurance salesman, working his butt off, making a nice middle class home. A mom who's there making dresses. I mean, just a perfect lifestyle. She had her 8th birthday on a Sunday. There was an extra piece of birthday cake that they put away for her. So when she came home Monday from school, she'll have the last piece of birthday cake, something to look forward to. Next she comes off the school bus, running up the driveway home, opens the door, goes in the kitchen, and her mother comes after with a knife because there's someone behind her. She had a psychotic breakdown like that. Okay, that was the beginning. And for 40 years, she's desperately wants her mother back. She sees her, but she's not there. For 40 years, she wants her mother back. How does the family deal with this? When she's a mental institution, they deal with it through humor. They deal with it through, through love, through hope, through anger, and that's the play. Really, the play is this family. How do they handle it? What do they do? How do they get her back? How do I get my mother back? There's the play. And I won't tell you the ending. I won't tell you the ending, but
Oh my
it is
God.
it is amazing. I mean, I'll put it this way. My prediction was during the readings, I said, it's going to be the end of the play, and it's going to be total silence and just sobs, but sobs releasing emotion, not sad, like releasing emotion, almost like your loved one came back from the war. I said, go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to a roar. And exactly what happened. It ended, nothing, and then a roar. It was like being at the Venice Film Festival with a 7-minute ovation.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how powerful this piece is.
I'm so happy for you. I really am. I really, really am. And look, I'm so glad that I got time with you so that you could tell everybody could see what I saw. And I can't wait to see you. I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. Uh,
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. And Mickey's there.
yes, Mickey's there and Henry's there
Yep.
and
Donnie's there.
Don's there. And but I do want to ask you real quick. I have a bunch of people that have asked if they can order pictures for you to sign since they can't necessarily get to the Comic-Con, if you will sign them, and
Absolutely.
I'll send them back. And boy, you tell you I got nothing. You're just really, you're very, very cool, and you're a very special person. And I think the highlight of my whatever career this is that I'm building for myself
You're
has
doing
been.
great. By the way, you do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
serious.
you.
That last event we were at, Don and I were raving about you. And you made us so comfortable.
Thank
And your
you.
husband is awesome, Josh.
I'm gonna keep
He
him
is,
around.
he is, I'm glad he's coming to everything.
I am
He's
too.
great to hang with.
I
He's
am
a
too.
great guy.
Plus, I don't have to carry the luggage anymore, which you have
Plus,
no
you know
idea.
what I love about your husband too? He's the quiet strength. He's one of those guys that doesn't look for pats on the back. All of a
No.
sudden, things are just done. Things are just done. Quietly, lovingly, unexpectedly, and doesn't put himself in front. I mean, he is selfless.
And
And your crew too are great.
Thank you. I
Absolutely wonderful.
thank you. That means so much. But we it's funny, we all left and we had like this meeting and all of us looked at each other going, okay, this was like the best weekend ever. I mean, like it because we do get these opportunities and and I really do. I come home and I the first thing I do is I tell my son and and then I get online and I tell everybody like, okay, this is what it was like. We had dinner, we did this, we sang Jolson songs. And I over and over, I kept wanting to tell everybody about you. And I was so blown away that I was like, I cannot do it because this story was so powerful that he needs to do it. And I'm just really glad that you did because it's something that I learned with sales. Somebody once told me that if a product existed and it was so big and popular, everybody would know about it. If you've never heard of it, figure it doesn't exist. And so if I'd never heard of it before and I never heard that story, then I'm going to go and assume that the 20,000 people that follow me, they never heard of it either. So now I get to share that story with them for the first time. So I'm really glad. And I can't wait to see you. And please tell your wife that I'm very excited because I'm going to make sure that I am at that show.
Right.
Because mental illness, if you ain't seen it up close, you haven't been around yet.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a doozy, but we're not alone. We're not
No,
alone. There's support and there's help.
there absolutely
And there
is.
are miracles. There are miracles.
There are, and you are just wonderful. And I will be talking to you offline and because we have other stuff that we're gonna do. And I have to get to work now because you told me I have to get stuff
Yes,
done.
you
So
do.
I'm
Yes,
going
you
to.
do.
And you are the best. Thank you for everything.
Thank
I will
you.
talk to you real soon. Oh, here. He's telling me how much he likes you.
You have a
Do
horrible, horrible, horrible taste in character. I'm the worst.
that? Not at all, man.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Are we
Wonderful.
going to see you in Tennessee?
We'll be there.
That's awesome.
You're stuck with me, unfortunately.
Awesome. We love it. Are you kidding? Awesome. Awesome.
You are the greatest. I'll talk to you real soon.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Mwah.
Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.